Satnam.
Satnam.
Welcome, everybody. So glad to see you and be on the beginning of the week with you. So we're going to be playing a lot with this particular mantra, Chatra Chakra Varte. And I have them. Oh my goodness, where did I do it? Okay, I have the mantra, so I'll pass it out to you. But we're going to listen to it all during the class and in our Savasana, so it just kind of gets in our head. This mantra is really about anxiety and fear and letting it go. It's really about letting go of our worries and just coming into the knowing that we are protected and we don't have to handle it all. I know, don't we all feel stressed out? Sometimes, especially this time of year. I love the fall. Like, I just love the smell that starts in October, and it just gets better and better. It's just so wonderful. And probably in California, it's extremely enjoyable, unless you really miss the turning leaves, that it never snows, but you can enjoy this change. So there's a 3-day period that happens on October 31st through November 2nd. It's called Samhain. And it is hooked up with Halloween, Hallows Eve, and All Saints' Day. So it's a time where they honor the dead. And it's also, and we're really going to play with this energy, it's also a good time to look at this year, because we're going, the sun is going to get darker and darker and out less and less all the way to the winter solstice on the darkest day. And it's interesting, the winter solstice is so celebrated by so many spiritual paths. The darkest day is celebrated. And it's because it's a mixture of the divine feminine and the masculine. The masculine is very much the June solstice, right? But this is the time of the Divine Mother, the mystery of life, where things get quieter. It's funny how our Western economy and power has made December the most hectic times in our lives. Don't buy into that. It is on purpose to distract you from the stillness and the beauty that happens between that. Actually, it's kind of from December 21st with the solstice, December 21st with Christmas Eve, and then that New Year's Eve where you set up. Because even though, these dates on the calendar are Gregorian, they have been created by man that went better with the clock and farm crops and whatever. We've been doing it enough that there's power in it. And there's power in the numbers. And there's power in the way we think about it. So this day is in this little portal of the Day of the Dead, Samhain. And Samhain is an invitation to kind of go, all right, how's my year going? What have I just not got around to? What's still kind of missing? And don't overwhelm yourself. It's a blessing if you can even notice something. That's huge. And this particular year, it really goes with the third sutra. When the time is on you, start, and the pressure's off. Any kind of step towards it. I like that little cartoon that my daughter used to watch at Christmas time, with those people that only have 4 fingers, and they're like, there's one, Santa Claus is coming to town, and there's whole scene with the winter warlock, and he wants to kill Kris Kringle, but he talks him out of it, and they do this song. And the song, it just makes me happy. I will play it around Christmas. It's the best. It's so Kundalini. So what they sing to each other is, just put one foot in front of the other. And there's this line somewhere, you mean it's my own election to have a better day? Yes! So it's that kind of energy. That's the third sutra, just one foot in front of the other. That doesn't mean you think you're getting there at first, It doesn't mean like instant relief, but at least you're not stuck. you're moving a little bit towards it. And then what happens? You get some momentum, and some good things start to happen. And then you're like, this is good. All I have to do is little baby steps. Oh, yeah, just baby steps. That's all it takes. And so I want to also talk about, not that it's the best subject, but death is happening all the time. Every time you go to sleep, that day is gone. Divorces, leaving jobs. Sometimes there's a death of the way you think. And there's a lot of dogma in religion that we have to totally let go of because, someone in our Sangha got in so much pain, they exited on their own. They did it. They left. And I'm very familiar with that because when I was 22 years old, my best friend killed herself. And I just want us to really embrace this. And I'm so glad I have Yogi Bhajan, and I had the most amazing teachers in my life when she did this because they were just so whole. And they said, and it's that any death that comes before when you're very old is an accident. Any death. Any death, even if it's initiated on your own, is an accident. It's a mistake of the energies there. And what we have to really just bless this person because you can imagine what kind of pain you're in to have that be the only relief you could have. There is no judgment in that. Now, where the dogma gets crazy is, the Catholics, you have to go to purgatory and all that. Fuck that shit. And so, I'm so grateful for Wanda Monet in my life. She says, the universe is loving. God is kind. And so when you go that way, you are exalted. You are rushed into a room of immense love and healing. The universe gets it. Oh, my God, we got to work on this soul. And it's all given to them. Oh, I'm getting God bumps because Babs really loves it when I talk about this. And, the truth is, my friend is one of my biggest angels. And she fixed something in me by doing that. We were both into a pretty hard drug at the time. And I never did it again. It was like, and she would come in my dreams, this being her normal sassy self, but she would be like, hey, it's a big deal. You don't want to end up like me. I'm like, okay, all right, And then she's just been such a champion. She always comes when I'm tempted to make the wrong decision. Even though that was right for her, that's not my life. And she totally knows how to speak to my soul and my heart. So these times, this Samhain time, you have one more night when the veil is very thin, and we can work on it during our class by moving the fear and anxiety away. It's amazing what a soul is like out of their body. Like my mom, we really got along towards the end, but there was still work to do. But she's so cool, Dad. I really like her. And it's precarious, too, because the universe and the soul is not linear like we are. So what I mean by that is we are actually in several places at once. So it's very likely that Babs and my mother are already born again here. But there is still a part of their energy, a portal, that always stays in the angelic state to keep helping all the ones they lived with. And until all those pass, then they'll have another going through. You also can be on other planets, other realms. So it's weird, and we don't have to figure that out. But what you can do is just relax. It's unknowable. But you can sense it. And that's all that matters. Always trust your soul. Always trust that part that is just the most beautiful one-liner. Your soul, if you are going dunka, 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 that's your head. If you're going back and forth. Because your soul is like, no, I've got a better idea. It's very certain. And you'll feel it, and then your head will start bouncing it around. And that's why you do Kundalini Yoga. So what our whole goal really is, to have more time in our head in neutral. So we can totally hear the soul, and we can hear God, and we can hear the angels. Neutral is the key to happiness. I think my destiny with all of you is like to get you turned on with neutral. You know, because normally we want some excitement. And what happens? But you can use the power of blessing and just bring it down a little, and it will last longer. And the dip will not be as bad. And over time, there's no dip. That's what someone like Yogi Bhajan, Yogananda, you could see it in them. They were always level. They were so connected. And we can be that way too. So let's get connected. Okay? Yay for us! All right, rub your hands together. And take a deep breath. And then exhale. Bring your hands, your thumbs into your sternum. Spread your fingers apart like a little star. And allow yourself to feel the energy of your index finger, the Jupiter finger, the middle finger, Saturn, the ring finger, the Sun, and the pinky finger, Mercury. Bringing in the energy of expansion and blessing, of discipline and grit, of vitality and energy, and the truth and clear communication. Inhale to chant. Om.